Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unsafe Spaces Daily Kufefi. God damn it, I'm going to get it wrong every time. Carrie?
Kafefi Talk.
Kufefi Talk. I'm Carter Laren. That obviously was the bad Mama Jamma. Carrie Smith. It is definitely a Kufefied morning because we actually already had a conversation this morning and recorded it. And it was my fault. I guess I double-clicked on the .zoom file at the wrong time and it disappeared. I don't know.
No, I think this is divine intervention, because the first take that we did of this, I got really mad and was just ranting and yelling. And
talked about the Mueller report. I went through a whole thing about the Trump Mueller report stuff.
We did a great episode. Other than that, I couldn't come out of my anger at the end. So this is kind of a divine intervention to be like, you don't want people to see you that mad.
Yeah. Or are you calling me God?
No, I'm saying God intervened. Yeah.
Oh, I see. I don't think we don't want to go through the Mueller report because that put a really bad, carrying a bad mood. Suffice to say, what I said was brilliant. And
what you said was brilliant. And look, here's what we said in summary.
Still pay attention to the media, I think, right?
Yeah, the media is pumping your head full of propaganda. Look, we can talk about it. We just, Carter's reading through most of volume 2 right now. So if you guys haven't read through it, volume 1 is about collusion or conspiracy. Is what they call it. That's the legal term of what they were looking into. There was no conspiracy. There was no collusion. They spent 2 years, the media telling us that there was. And then volume 2 is about whether or not he obstructed. And Carter can talk about this a little bit, but basically it's like this guy's been accused of something that he didn't do, and he reacts the way that Trump is going to react when he's accused of something he didn't do, and that maybe many of us would react. Doesn't mean it's right, but I was saying I would be so indignant if people were, accused me of stealing an election when I didn't, that I would be asking all of my advisors, well, how can I get rid, I want to move on with my presidency. Can I do that? Can I do this? That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Like tell me what your take on it was. What's the quote that the media is taking out of context that we were talking about that made me so upset?
Well, do we really want to go there?
Well, just the one quote. We don't have to.
Yeah. So CNN and all the media, they're all pulling this, they're cherry picking this quote when President Trump learned that Mueller was appointed as special counsel, Trump, quote, slumped back in his chair and said, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I'm fucked." Now, they're presenting this quote by itself, and the implication is, why, he must have been fucked because he was doing something wrong. Why else would he have this reaction? And even CNN was speculating, gee, why do you think he has that reaction? It must be because he's hiding some criminal activity. He must be a bad person. Only a guilty person would have that reaction. Why would he think he's fucked? Well, they don't have to speculate. The very next sentence,
that they're not telling you about. They're not telling nobody.
Yeah. They just conveniently forgot to read. Maybe they didn't get to that part in the report yet. The next sentence is from Trump. Everyone tells me if you get one of these independent counsels, it ruins your presidency. It takes years and years, and I won't be able to do anything. Oh, so he's upset because it will distract his presidency, and he won't be able to accomplish the things he wanted. He's upset about a multi-year investigation where, I don't know, media hacks yell about collusion and conspiracy for 2 years straight, thus derailing his other plans and making that the focus of his presidency. It's pretty clear why he thought he was fucked. It was because of you, CNN, and you don't have to speculate. He told you. So that kind of stuff. The only balanced thing I want to say is, look, the headline is Volume 1, no collusion. So everything the mainstream media has been telling you for 2 years is bold-faced lie, false. That's the big takeaway. Volume 2, did the guy lie and do some stuff? Like, yeah, probably not any more than any other politician, though. I'm not in the Trump camp, and I'm not in the Obama camp or whatever. Like, Obama lied. Lots of politicians lie all the time. He did kind of understandable, normal lies to make him look good in public, or like, you told him I did that. And he didn't lie to the FBI. He just kind of lied to the public, about who did what sometimes, or tried to, or said like, hey, can we fire that guy? And his lawyers are like, no, you can't fire him. That oh, okay, right? He's just reacting like you would expect Trump to react if he's insulted and wants to just clear the path and move on. And people
And
around.
to be clear, Carter, I don't think you are, and I'm certainly not saying that's okay. Like, I don't think lying, I personally don't think lying is okay. Even white lies is like, and you and I are going to have a whole episode about lies at some point.
We'll have a lie discussion at some point, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's okay either. You're right.
Right.
But
it's not okay. It's just that for people to pretend like they don't understand why a person might be like, let's squash this thing because I didn't do it and it's going to they're acting like they don't understand, or if they weren't put in that position. Like, this is human behavior clearly. And the thing is, is it obstruction? Maybe are we going to waste another 2 years finding out if he obstructed an investigation into something that we now know he didn't do? There's no evidence for him doing. Like, that's such a waste of time.
Yeah, I would say more than just a waste of time. Like, if someone gets caught, if you accuse someone of a major crime and they have and you have a mild case that they may have tried to obstruct your intrusive and upsetting investigation into that crime, but didn't really end up being able to do much, but maybe asked some people if they could and tried a couple things. And then you find out that actually they never committed the crime. Could you charge them with obstruction? Yeah. Should you? No. I mean, I just don't think you should. And it's not out of character of any other politician. I mean, if you think that your own favorite politician doesn't do the same kind of crap behind closed doors, like I was saying before on the Lost episode, right? They kiss babies. They tell you you look great today. Whatever. Like Trump mentioned, I love Kim Jong-un. He's a great guy. Like, that's a fucking lie. We all know it's a lie. He's saying that because he wants Kim Jong-un to hear that, and
And Obama said you can keep your doctor.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's good. In fact, I'm saying it's bad. And I happen to be an anarcho-capitalist. So, hey, you want to get rid of all politicians on that criteria? Let's do it. But the point is, it's not unique to Trump. It's not a big deal. It's understandable. It's a distraction to accuse him of obstruction. And at the end of the day, he was obstructing, or even tried to obstruct. It's a weak case in the first place, and it's obstruction of nothing because there was nothing there.
And it's a political witch hunt. I happen to agree with him on this. It was a total witch hunt, and you've already subjected him to it for 2 years. Couldn't find any evidence. Can we please move on? Except, like I was saying in the last episode, they're not going to move on because for them, it's not about, like, they have an ends in mind. And they're just looking for the correct means. So this doesn't work. We spent 2 years on Russia hoax. That didn't work. Okay, let's try to get some obstruction on the investigation into the Russia hoax. Like, whatever it is they're trying to fit in there, they don't want to wait until 2020 and actually run a Democrat that I would want to vote for, or that you would, or that other people want. They don't want to wait and do that. They want to try and yank him out of there, declare his presidency illegitimate, impeach for what? It's so disingenuous. That's what I find so upsetting. And if there were to be an investigation after this one, I hope it's into, like you said, like, where did this hoax start?
Right.
Why? Right? Like, why did we waste 2 years on this? Resources and besides just the resources and the money, this is what makes me probably the root of my anger about it is 2 years of propaganda being pumped into the heads of people on the left, because it's people on the left who are listening to it and wanting to believe it because they don't want him to be in office. They want to believe it.
Right. They force themselves to believe it.
Right. And those people now I see them in online discussions. Some of them friends of mine, you can't just suddenly, I understand why they can't let go of it, even though Barr is up there in the press conference 6 or 7 times saying no collusion, there's no collusion. And CNN is like 6 or 7 times. It's kind of excessive to say that there's no collusion. No, it's not excessive at all. He should probably say it for 2 years like you guys did, because you so thoroughly convinced with tens of thousands of impressions in the minds of people that there was collusion, that him saying it 6 or 7 times doesn't mean anything, because these people are still running around like, but there was collusion. You can't just it's like ripping the bottom of a Jenga tower out. You can't just take this foundational belief that you implanted in the minds of people, say, hey, wait a minute, that wasn't true. So I understand why people are having trouble letting go of this belief. And I think it is just immoral. I think it's immoral. I think what the media has done to people is immoral.
Absolutely. And we don't want to exonerate Fox News either. Like, obviously they have their bias, but the people on the left can see the Fox News bias. And they don't seem to be able to see, if you point out MSNBC or CNN or anyone else, New York Times or whatever, they're like, no, they're objective. It's just Fox News bias. It's like, no. They're both, look, take it from someone who's not a Republican and is not a Democrat and doesn't like any of you parties.
Yeah.
They're both biased. Like, they're both biased. You just got to open your eyes and look at them. They're both telling you the narrative that you want to hear that makes you feel good. And it makes you feel good to think that Trump is evil. So you do.
And people don't see, I mean, that's the thing is you can watch mainstream media, I think, without it having, what's the word? Deleterious. Is that the word? That like a negative.
Yeah. Deleterious.
Yeah. Without it having that kind of impact on you, as long as you realize you're watching propaganda on whichever side, like just be aware of it. And because so many people on the left, you're right. It's like they can easily see it when it's on the right, but they can't see it when it's on our side. And, so last night, you and I were in the chat of a debate that our friend Mike Harlow was doing about trans kids and the LGBT movement and walk away and stuff. And in this debate on YouTube, the guy he was talking to is like, well, trust me. He was basically saying that SJW ideology, like neo-Marxist ideology, it's like, I'm on a college campus. I don't see that ideology. I don't see it anywhere. It's like, does a fish see the ocean? Dude, like you're in, it's all around. Of course you don't know what ocean. That's what you live in. So just, I don't know. It's kind of like, yeah, there might be a reason why you're not able to see the bias that you agree with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that debate was weird. I don't, we can get into that, but like that guy, like, hey, here's some statistics about reality. Well, I don't see it. Okay. That is relevancy 0. I mean, like, yeah. He was very like into anecdotes. Like, I was like Googling stuff and looking up things that the medical establishment was saying and doing and like statistics that were being collected. And he was like, well, I was in kinesiology courses and I didn't see that. I'm like, okay.
But then if Mike shared a story, he would go, that's anecdotal. Here's something, by the way, I've noticed.
He was very good at pointing that out when Mike did it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I noticed it first in the debate between Meghan Murphy and the trans activist that we talked about a lot in the episode with her. And then I noticed it last night between Mike and this guy, but I've seen it elsewhere too. Some of the SJWs, some of the more articulate ones, and I'm not saying that to be insulting, just actually the ones who I think are more intelligent and articulate, they're starting to look at what's happening with this pushback, this anti-SJW stuff, and they're starting to take some of the concepts and language and try and flip it again. So they're now saying facts, not feelings. They're trying to say that, although they're still rooted in feeling. It's weird, and they're trying, and they'll come in and say stuff like, "That's anecdotal," and I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm actually appreciative of the fact that they're trying to.
I think it's great because it forces you to go like, oh yeah, let me go get the non-anecdotal statistics to back that up.
Exactly. So I don't know if it's necessarily bad. It's just some of them, not him necessarily, but some of them are online who are trying to do it, don't know what they're saying though. They're like straw man, and you're like, I don't think you know what that means.
Yeah.
But good effort.
I do see a lot of that. Those like I see a lot of. I mean, first of all, logical fallacies are everywhere around us, but I do see a lot of that from the left, especially where they'll call out a logical fallacy, and I'm like, that's not what that is. Yeah,
when they're calling it wrong. So it's the more intellectual guys like this guy. Cool. I'm actually happy he's trying to have rational and discussion. That's a good thing that we're having, and that conversation was mostly civil. But some of the ones online I've seen, they're trying to take fallacies and they're trying to take some of the argumentation of people who oppose SJW ideology, but they're just trying to use it the same way they use SJW words, which is just meaningless, like words that get you to shut up. They're trying to use it just like white privilege.
Right,
and so, yeah.
When I call them Nazi, that doesn't make them shut up anymore. What if I say straw man?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
yeah,
That's exactly what they're doing.
words have meanings.
I saw a Steven Crowder video here at UT Austin that he did recently. It was one of the Change My Mind, except in this one he had students arguing with students, which was kind of cool. But some guy in the back, some student yelled at him, and then so that he started interacting with that student. He's like, "Why are you yelling at me?" Because the student was insulting him and called him a name or something. And the guy was like, "Well, because your show is all just wrong, and you people cite you to try to say that they're right, but they're not, and all you do is make circular arguments." Like, you don't know what a circular argument is. Like, you know what you say. Anyway, that's just my little thing about and just keep an eye out for that. You're going to start seeing more SJWs using words like that.
Frankly, yeah, but it's also, look, we all fall into the trap of using anecdotes or not making totally logically sound arguments all the time because it's faster and easier, right? We'll use analogy, or we'll say, well, for example, here's an anecdote that happened or whatever. And that's all fine. And it can be used to color and to kind of provide something maybe more compelling, a compelling narrative. But at the end of the day, statistics and facts and logic do matter. And so, if the SJWs are going to start using that and holding us to account, as long as they're holding themselves to account, we'll win.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
So now they won't hold themselves to account, right? They, like you're saying, they're just going to throw those words out as
magic words.
Yes, magic words, which is how I think they think words work generally.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't think on this take we mentioned, I feel like we need to mention that Cernovich apologized. He did not come on yesterday as planned. We don't know when. Carrie, he says he wants to be on the show. We just don't know.
Yeah,
right?
well, no, we're the ones who, we apologize because we promoted him before it was like locked in. He was supposed to be on yesterday. We just didn't know what time, and it didn't happen. So I think just next time we get, and he said he wants to be on, so I think we will have him. But regardless, I think in the future when we get a special guest, we'll just be a little bit more cautious about promoting them before we have the time locked in or whatever.
We had.
I just got excited. I was like, "Yay, we get to talk about Hoaxed."
But when he comes on, it'll probably be spontaneous. So we'll just like start a live stream and tweet about it. And so that's how
I'll be at the gym. Yeah, the last time he was like, we're like, "Hey, we'll be doing it on our phones."
He tried to come on before it. You were at the gym, and I was like, I don't remember. I think I had like.
You were picking up your daughter from school, I think.
No, maybe that's right. I was out picking up my daughter. So yeah, it was like not a great time. Carrie, we were doing this take. We decided it was going to be more positive.
I'm really sorry. I got so mad on the first one, but now I only have to apologize to you and not the viewers because they didn't see it.
I don't think you need to apologize for being angry.
Okay.
I think that's like that's your own psychology thinking it's not okay to be angry. You're allowed to be angry.
Yeah.
Anger can be a healthy emotion sometimes, and there's some things to be angry about. Do you have anything? So it's a Friday. Let's end on what's a positive Friday thing? I'm looking through Twitter. There's not even anything exciting going on Twitter.
It's a positive thing. Let's see. Did I have anything pulled up that I wanted to talk about? Do we have time left? I guess we don't.
We could talk about something. There's not much. I don't think there's much going on because everyone right now is totally focused on
the Mueller report
stuff. And
Mueller.
Like that for a while. And
well, we can talk about that some more. Here's the thing about that is, I guess I'm so angry because I feel like it's been 2 years already, and now they say there's no evidence of collusion. We know this, and yet the news cycle won't stop, and people won't let it go, and it just seems so frustrating, like such a waste of time and resources and headspace. And like, why do we, I don't know. It makes me angry that the left doesn't. Oh, I can share the thing I shared with you about Robert Reich. Is that how you pronounce it? The Democratic.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Yeah. He posted something.
The Department of Labor guy under, was it Clinton or Obama?
Obama. And I kind of like some of the stuff he says. He's a leader on the left. He's called out Antifa before, which is cool for someone on the left to do. I've been wanting more leaders on the left to do that. But he posted something recently about how it was about that propaganda thing that Trump did, the video of Ilhan Omar, her comments that we talked about intercut with 9/11 footage, which you and I didn't like that video either. But that wasn't a call to violence against her.
Right.
and which they're trying to say it was. It's not. And he sort of said something similar that it was. He was like, I've never seen a president do this kind of thing. What can we do? What can be done? What are your thoughts? And then people in the comments were actually making calls to violence against Trump, and people on the right. I'm like, did you not see that coming? That you're like, he's doing calls to violence. What should we do? And I just was sort of like, it's the same thing with the impeachment things. Like, hey, I have an idea, Democrats, and it's a legal idea. Like, let's run a Democrat who's a liberal that people want to vote for, that they'll get excited about, like that I and other people who've walked away might want to vote for. Like, why don't we do that? I get so mad because they're not focusing in the right places.
Well, like we said before, I think the Democratic Party has been converged upon, and I think the term we use was like, I don't think there was a walk away movement so much as there was the Democratic Party walking away from its constituents. I think it's been taken over by social justice warriors, and they're no longer Democrats. They are. I mean, or the definition of Democrat has now changed to be.
It's changed.
Social justice warriors, which is why I think you guys should go start another little party or whatever. But no one will vote for. I mean, not no one, but if the Democrats nominated who they think is a great candidate, they won't get votes because they seem to be taken over by SJWs. They think Elizabeth Warren is a great candidate, and
they're delusional. I saw like a window into, like, a liberal friend yesterday posted which candidates are you excited about? Like, he's on the left too, and he's trying to figure. And then I saw people come in and post these. Here's why I think Warren is a great candidate, and they do a whole thing. Or here's why I think Kamala Harris is a great candidate. But almost to a T, almost everything they said was about, except with the exception of Warren, they did talk about fighting corporate interests and stuff. But with Kamala Harris, it was like, she's going to be a great candidate because she's going to nail Trump's ass to the wall. It was all anti-Trump stuff. It wasn't even about her. It was like,
he won't be in office anymore if
right.
They mean on the debates.
No, they mean indict him or something. For what? I don't know, but she'll throw him in jail and blah blah. I'm like, what are you talking about? And that's not even a endorsement of her. That's still an anti-Trump thing. What is an endorsement hurt? But no, I think they're delusional. I will not vote for either of those people. The only people on so far that I've heard that are considering running that I'm still interested in, I like Tulsi Gabbard so far. I'm interested in her. I'm still learning more. And I'm very curious about this Yang guy now. I'll learn more about Yang. Yeah. But otherwise, no. Nobody on that list. I think they're a bunch of idiots. I hate to be ad hominem.
I mean, have you heard Yang speak? As much as his answer to everything, like I saw a Yang town hall, and his answer to everything was like, money. Like, what do you do about blah, blah, blah? We'll spend more money on it. What would you do about blah, blah, blah? Print money. What would you do? More money.
Maybe I'm
like, I don't know what his experience in Silicon Valley was, but maybe he just got a lot of venture backing and he just thinks that money is the answer to everything. I don't know. But like
right now, I'm just looking for candidates who are not going to be beholden to SJW ideology. And those two do not appear that they're going to be. And now I want to learn more about them. But that's how I'm looking at it. And I had a friend say, oh, you're a single issue voter. I'm like, no, I'm not, because that's foundational. That's an ideology.
That's not an issue.
It's not an issue. It's a belief system. Every single issue is going to be affected by whether or not they're beholden to that belief system or not. So that's, now I can look, now that if I have candidates that I know are maybe not going to be beholden to that SJW ideology, then I can look at them and say, well, where do they compare them on the issues and move, but so far there's only two.
If you care about that, my recommendation would be, in order to ensure that someone is not beholden to the SJW ideology, it needs to be someone who is already an enemy and has positioned themselves as an enemy of social justice. Otherwise, even if they're kind of not saying the things but quiet about it, they will cave. Mm-hmm. Because the SJWs will put a lot of pressure on, like there's a lot of pressure that goes on. And if they're not already, if I was running for anything, I would already be smeared by SJWs and be like anti-SJW. Like I would already be positioned as anti-SJW. So if they have any sort of visibility publicly and the SJWs don't hate their guts and they're already anti-SJW, like very clearly, then you can't rely on them to enact policy that's not in line with SJW ideology.
That's a good point.
That's my thought on that.
Yeah.
And I don't think Gabbard or Yang has done that, but I don't know enough about them, but I don't think they have. It's one of the only things that's, I mean, I won't say only, but it's probably the best thing about Trump is he pisses off the media and social justice warriors. Like that's and he does it intentionally and overtly. He doesn't do it by mistake, and he doesn't hide from it. He proudly annoys and the social justice warriors and goes against that ideology. And, you know, anyone who does that is interesting automatically to me. No one's going to have policies that I agree with completely anyway. So that's kind of my process on it.
Right. He is my fallback position. It's on record now. It's on tape now. I've said it. I would never thought I would have been willing to vote for that man. But if the Democrats don't run someone, if the candidate isn't someone, or if there isn't a third party person that I believe in, then, I mean, am I willing to vote for him? Yes. If I have to. He's not my first choice. I want to see who else is running. But I know where he stands on the SJW ideology. And that's foundational to me. So
yeah.
It is.
I think it should be. If you care about the culture war, that should be foundational. Right? That should be really important.
It is the most important existential crisis I think we're facing at the moment. Doesn't mean it's always going to be, but I think it is right now in this country. And so it undergirds everything else. And I did want to say one more thing
That's
about.
a great happy ending, by the way.
That's a happy ending? What?
No.
No, here's something funny. So one of my favorite YouTubers is, I've told you about her, I think you follow her now, is Body Language Ghost.
Oh yeah, she's great.
And so she just takes apart people's body language. I'm very interested in, sometimes I like to watch just like I go down this rabbit hole on YouTube of police interrogation videos, and you can see how like people react, even when they're saying one thing, how their body reacts differently. So she did a breakdown of the Barr press conference, but she wasn't focusing on Barr. She was focusing on what's his name?
Rod Rosenstein?
Rod Rosenstein, the guy who was standing back there, like not blinking the whole time. Yeah. It was really creepy. And she got in close on him. It was really funny, but you could see a lot in it. She's like, you can see when his eyes narrow, like when somebody's, you know, he's mad about something or he's coming in tight. You can see when he like does a big swallow because something that Barr is saying bothers him. You know, you can see when he remembers that he should be blinking because he's staring too far. Like she's just like, he's dead inside. He's dead inside. Like, but everybody should go check that out. That's a bit of levity, I think, in the whole thing that's happening right now.
Yeah, she's great. She I really like her videos. In fact, here, let's I won't play the video because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. But like this is the Body Language Ghost. It's her channel is Body Language Ghost. And look, she's got 125,000 views on this, 26,000 views on this already.
Oh yeah.
But she'll go through and say like, she'll pause the video and she'll talk about the body language of everyone. And it's fascinating. She did it for Kevin Spacey's arraignment or something, some court procedure that he was doing.
That was a good one. Hey, actually, I think if we're commenting on it, you could play just a little bit because it's for
okay.
Or no?
Let me make sure that the volume works. Hold on here. The sound might be weird, but let's try it.
He's dead inside. He's just that blank stare. So you look at the other gentleman on the other side, who's going to be in the same mental mindset as far as standing in front of a crowd with a big announcement. So he blinks, Rosenstein holds a little longer, and then he blinks and looks away. Whereas the other guy is actually looking or focusing in on something. Rosenstein is standing there, no movement in the eyes, just staring out that dead inside. He finally does blink. He looks away, probably realizing he's staring. You all know it. When you've blinked and you realize, oh, I've been staring, and you stop that.
Russian attempts to interfere.
Yeah.
I think that's enough, but yeah, he's dead inside.
Yeah. I if you don't follow Body Language Ghost,
you should.
Yeah. I want to get her on the show at some point. She would be awesome.
Yeah, actually, let's reach out to her. So somebody in the comments, I think I mentioned this to you, somebody in the comments said, we should invite some other bigger YouTubers on, especially ones who are known for helping out smaller channels. So there are a couple I have in mind that we should reach out to. And if you guys have any suggestions, actually, that would help us. If you have any suggestions, if someone was like, you should reach out to Bearing. I like Bearing a lot. And so we're going to, but anybody else that you think that is cool about coming on growing channels and vice versa, like just let us know in the comments or hit them up for us and say, hey, you should have these guys on, or
Yeah, that's a great way to end the Friday daily show. And at this point, unless someone gives us a better name, we'll probably end up with some sort of temporary Kofifi themed. I don't know why I can't say that word. It's because I think I used to say Kovif, and that's stuck in my head, and you've got Kofefi going on, and I'm trying to
Kofefi sounds like a party, like confetti.
Kofefi does sound more fun. Yeah. So anyway, we'll probably end up with a Kofefi themed title. But yeah, I don't know. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Cadbury eggs this week.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter and / spring solstice for those of you who are not so. I'm kidding. I had to throw that out there. It's not even spring solstice, is it? When is it? That's like the 21st. Oh, so it is spring solstice. There you go. Have a good weekend. Happy Easter.
Bye, Carter.